Is being recorded.
Today's Familiarization session. And so as you all know, those who joined before, the purpose of these sessions is to provide you with a basic high-level awareness of how the iFAMS system operates. And so the FMBT SI team is on today to provide these sessions. And you can see the general system and preview some of the functionality in advance of iFAMS training. And so just to be clear, and I kind of said this before, these are not formal training sessions per se. These sessions will not provide you detailed instructions or training related to your role that you perform in the system. And so our goal with these sessions is to increase your general knowledge and awareness and understanding, and also comfort level with iFAMS before you attend formal training. And so for your convenience, these sessions are recorded, and they can be viewed on the VA FMBT training Pulse page, along with any supplemental materials that will accompany the training. And so we will post the link to our Pulse page in the chat box for the session, and we will also post a link to a short survey. The survey is optional, but of course your feedback is always appreciated, and it'll help us improve our sessions in the future. And so with that, I will turn it over to the SI team for today's familiarization session. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. So today's our last session of 2019, and we have the pleasure of having a trio of presenters from the BI team. So please, when you start your presentations, if you would introduce yourself, I would appreciate it. As Charles said, this meeting is being recorded. So thank you very much. You are muted. If you have any questions, please put the questions in the chat box and we will address them as we can.
Well, thank you everybody for hopping on this call. My name is Sean Cranston. I'm one of the Power BI developers on the BI team. Once again, thank you all for coming to this familiarization session with Power BI. We're really excited to show you some of these reports so you all can get a little familiarity with the reports and how they operate. And we just really hope it gives you guys a good chance to see, you know, what the future state of reporting is going to look like in Power BI. A little introduction for today. Or the agenda for today, we're going to go over brief introductions of the team members, the 3 team members who are going to be on this call and actively engaged in the discussion. We're going to talk about all of the top priority reports that have been designated for Go Live. We're also going to briefly touch on why we're using Power BI instead of just using old reporting systems. But then the most exciting part of the presentation is we're going to actually demonstrate 2 enterprise reports, one being the aging receivables report and one being the obligations report. We would also like to, at the end, have kind of a Q&A open floor if anybody has questions that we can answer for you all. So the brief introduction for the team, we have Nita Viniak, she's the BI reports lead. We have Dilip Patel, who's the lead Power BI developer. He's going to be doing the Power BI demos here shortly. And once again, my name is Sean Cranston as a Power BI developer as well. Not mentioned in the introduction, though, is Kim Lowe. She's our iFAMS SME. She's going to be going over the Go Live reports. So I'll pass it over to Kim now.
Let me unmute her. Let me unmute you, Kim. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Can you hear me, though, Rachel? I might have unmuted myself.
You did.
I have the power of all. I just unmuted myself. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. So I'm going to just give a brief intro, if you will, of where we are today with the reports inventory, to just sort of give you a little bit of background as to where we are today so that people are just for awareness. So as you can see on this one slide, what we try to do was represent all of the reports that are going to be part of our 7/1 Go Live timeframe. So we anticipate that these will all be in production on our July 2020 Go Live window. And what I'm illustrating here is a couple of things. What you'll notice here is that, each of the reports are boxed in one of its separate boxes. But you'll notice that we've included the legacy system names or the iFAMS numbering schema, if you will. And what was actually representing here is the iFAMS report and what that report was made up of. So as you can see here, if you look at the top right-hand corner, the top left-hand corner, there's a trial balance. Well, that trial balance report there in iFAMS, there's one trial balance report, and that one trial balance report is actually a accumulation of two legacy FMS reports, the F911 and the F901. We purposely actually left the F numbers in there so that, for the folks who are on this call, you might be familiar with some of these FMS reports that we're now going to be turning into Power BI reports. So this is just for your reference, so that you have a picture of what we're actually going to be completed for the 7-1. The other thing to note here is really the items that I've highlighted things that are blue and green. And the blue actually represents the reports that we've developed so far that are going to be enterprise-wide. And what we mean by enterprise-wide is that all administrations and all staff offices will use those reports. And they're developed in such a way that it's going to be representative of reporting or the report layout, if you will, that that will be the same across all administration and staff offices. The only difference is that the report layout is exactly the same, but the data that gets displayed back on the report will be specific to administration or specific to a staff office. Then the items that you see in green are the ones that we've been working with NCA on, because their go live is the July timeframe. And NCA has identified unique NCA reports based on their specific business needs. So out of our reports inventory, what we're illustrating here is that there are a set of enterprise reports that are used by all administration and staff offices in blue. And then anything in green is very, very specific and unique that was developed for NCA go live. Okay. One thing to note as well, even though we have blue reports right now that are enterprise, in our future state, this is not all of the enterprise that's going to be developed. From a reporting perspective, there are more reports that are going to be developed as part of enterprise, but they're going to be phased in. In terms of the schedule that's being worked on for those particular additional enterprise reports, that's actually coming. We haven't actually completed that schedule, if you will, for development yet, but that's in process. And, the thing here is just to know this is not the only set of enterprise reports that are going to be developed. There are just more coming. This is just the set that's for go live for July 1. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back to Sean. And Sean's going to talk a little bit more about BI reporting and the tool that we're using, and he's going to demonstrate a couple of the ones that we've developed so far. And actually, if we're back on that slide for a second, he's actually going to illustrate what you're seeing on this inventory right now. He's going to actually illustrate the obligation report, which is in the left-hand side, the second box that says obligations. And he's going to illustrate the receivables report. It's also on the left-hand side, the fourth one down, the fourth blue box down. Those are the two reports that he's actually going to demo today. Sean, would you like to go ahead and take it from here?
Yeah, thank you, Kim.
Okay.
So right now, the question is, why are we going to Power BI? Why are we making reporting different for the future state? And one of the first reasons we saw is when we were reviewing some of the reports that are currently being made in FMS, it's very static in that once these reports are generated, it's only for a specific time period and making that past tense data. And it's also very black and white and text oriented. Not necessarily being a bad thing, but when you're running these reports and they're running page after page after page, it can get very tiresome to see these reports and understand what exactly your data is saying. So we wanted to transform these reports into a more contemporary business intelligence product. That's where we went with Power BI. So we translated a lot of these reports into interactive reporting tools where you can then filter specifically for data elements that is specific for the report that you want to run. Unlike the FMS reports, like I said, once they're generated, it's only pretty much a read option for you. You can't really interact with the report. If you wanted to change it, you would have to go back in and generate it again, and then it's going to print out all of the pages again. But with Power BI, you can be interactive with close to real-time data. It's going to have multiple daily refreshes of the data, and it's going to let you pretty much go back and forth and check for specific data elements for your report. So before like Kim was saying, we're going to demonstrate quickly two reports, or we're going to show you two reports before the demo. The first being the aging receivables report. This is the as-is, and I believe this is your F842 report. Once again, right here, you kind of see the summary of your delinquencies. You've got your aging categories, you have your bill counts, your outstanding amounts, and then on your next page, you have the detail of those aging categories. What we did with this, transforming into Power BI, is we pretty much brought all of those paginated reports into one. So you're going to have your summary section up top. You're going to be able to filter on specific aging categories if you want to. You can also filter in your detail section to potentially, if you want to see vendor names, document numbers, whatever you would like to slice on. And then we also included kind of a visualization in here as well. Visualizations are key in helping to interpret your data. It gives you kind of a new look as opposed to the black and white. Improves the UI, and overall, it makes reporting for the end user a lot more exciting than it used to be. Being able to work through your data how you want is just overall a lot better than the old paginated reports. The next one that we're also going to show you is the obligations report. This is your obligations by budget object code report. This is your F885 report. On here, you're going to see your BOC, your total monthly obligations, your fiscal year obligations, and also your accrued expenditures. You're also going to see your run times when this report was generated, highlighting once again the kind of static and that these reports are as for specific time periods. Further highlighting if you wanted real-time data, it makes it difficult. It also makes it difficult if you wanted to filter for different things, which led us to our obligations report that we created. As you're about to see here in the demo, you're going to be able to filter for specific administrations, your divisions for funds, and then you're going to see the detailed transactions for each of these summary levels above. You're also going to be able to generate reports and see them for fiscal year and months. You can go back in the past. You can also see totals. What we're really trying to show you is the interactivity of Power BI and how it's going to be very useful for you all when building these reports. Now we'd like to do the demos for the report, and I will pass it to Dylan Patel.
Thank you, Sean. Hey guys, my name is Dylan Patel. I am the Power BI lead developer for CGI, working with you guys. Today, as Sean said, we'll go ahead and start demoing our first report. First report is going to be our aging receivables. So let me know when you all can see my screen. And as we screen, a few things.
We can see your screen.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, so the first report we are talking about is aging receivables. As the arrows are pointing, basically, as Sean said, what we looked at is the static report that is generated today with FMS, right? We wanted to go ahead and pick up all the elements from that, and also maybe even possible join multiple reports into one report. For example, right now you're seeing a report that is run for summary itself, right? And the same report, similar to it, is a detailed report that is run for it on a different time and different report itself on FMS to gather all this information. So what the arrows are pointing here in the summary and detail literally are your FMS report number, the date, the station, the fund code, the beginning fiscal year, the pair type, and all the other things that you're seeing here as agent category, document number, established date, last activity date, date late, original amount, collected amount, write-off amount, balance due, pair code, and vendor employee name. And that is being subtotaled and totaled as needed. So talking about both the summary and detail, now getting that into what we built for you guys and how easy this would make your life in future is what this report is about. It's very UI friendly. That's the first thing. Second thing is it's literally solving all your current issues. If you didn't know nothing about how to operate this report, just opening this report should allow you to do your day-to-day job. What does that mean? The summary part, right? On the top, as you saw in your summary details, you literally saw your agent category and your total outstanding balance. We added a few extra things for you as well. We added bill count, fund class code, fund group code, the beginning balance fiscal year, the pair type itself, right? An easy way of sorting this data. Right now, this is being sorted by the agent category date. But if you wanted to see, you know what? I want to see the most amount of dollars owed in how many days category, you'll be able to see that, right? And you can go back to your agent sort. So that's something that's a very useful little chunk that you didn't have in your FMS report. You will be able to do that here, right? On the bottom is the detailed report. You have the same things on the detailed report as you did on the previous detailed report. It's the agent category, the days late, the document number, the established date, the last activity date, original amount, collected amount, write-off amount, balance due, pair type, and the vendor and employee name, right? So that does your current report. But how can we make this report even more functional or even more UI friendly, which is user interface friendly? So we start with two things. First, there's a filter section here. You will be able to filter this by exactly what you're looking for. If you are looking for a certain division, if you're looking for NCA only, you'll be able to do so. If you're looking for an organization that you want to look at, if you are looking for only one beginning fiscal year, you'll be able to do that. Fund class, fund code, group, pair type, vendor name, you'll be able to do so. You basically will be able to filter it down to exactly what you're looking for. So let's go ahead and look at a few things here. So we're just going to look at division category, which is our NCA, which is 400. We'll look at for begin budget fiscal year of FY 2019. And now this report automatically, as you see, the numbers have already changed. The summary and detail has already been updated directly just by simply clicking on few filters on the side, right? So these are called filters that you'll be able to put on and simply erase using this little eraser button right here. Right? And as soon as you do that, you're back to the full report. There was one other thing that we use this pie chart for, this donut chart for, that always tells you what your total outstanding amount is and your aging categories are. Now, the size of the aging dates matters of the volume of the or the money that is our total outstanding amount is, right? So if you wanted to just see all the documents that are related to 61 to 90 days, you're able to simply click on the 61 to 90 days, filter this report again on the summary and the detail level, and now all you will see is aging categories 61 to 90 on both summary and detail. Okay. Now your total outstanding also changed. similar to that, if you click on 91 to 120, you'll be able to see that the report now reflects 91 to 120 only. Your total outstanding balance is also reflecting the same at all places. Okay. So that was another way of dissecting it. Now let me just go one more beyond step and say, you know what? I want to look at division category, only NCA. Okay. Then also, what I want to do is I'm looking at this 94 bill counts that are in the aging category of 121 days to 180 days. I want to see the details only for that $609. I simply just click on that, and now my detail is going to show me that $609 and $163.62 details. And you'll be able to scroll up and down and find exactly what you're looking for. And again, the pie chart is updated, but also your summary and detail is updated. So that's the third way of filtering this thing. So again, I want to go back and show you all the little things that we put in this report to actually do what we are asking it to do. First, we kept the report very simple, similar to what you had before, summary and a detail. And using the summary and a detail, you are able to cross-filter between each other. You're able to cross-filter and see what exactly your details are from summary down to the details, right? Second filtration option is using the pie chart. You're able to see just a category that you're looking for. If you're looking for 181 to 365 days, you'll be able to just simply click on that. Your summary and your detail will be updated using that. The third filtration is all the filters that you see on the side of the filter panel. This filter panel you can hide and you can bring it out, all right? There's one other feature that I would like to add on top of filtration. Let's say if you have now filtered exactly what you're looking for, and you would like to go ahead and export this detail tab of $18,881.73. You want to go ahead and export this into a CSV, or maybe you want to print it out. You'll be able to do that just simply by clicking on these three little dots at the end of the detailed report or the summary report, and you will get more options. Okay? When you click on more options, you get that a new menu pop up, and off of that menu, you're able to choose export data, show data, and you can even go in a focus mode. But export data is what we're looking for, so we'll go ahead and click on export. You can do it summarized data, underlying data if it's available. And you can choose the way you want to export this into either a CSV format or Excel format. Okay? So that was one other feature that I wanted to show you as far as for the export. Again, it's multi-ways of filtering, multi-ways of exporting, sorting, slicing, dicing. That's the name of the new game is. It's very easy to find exactly what you're looking for. You no longer have to export these reports into Excel and pull out your to submit something. You will be able to do all of that right here. Okay? So the next report I want to jump into after this one is obligations. Before I get started on obligation, can you all still see my screen properly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Again, with obligations, we started with the same thing. What do you guys have and build on top of that, right? So we looked at the current report, and we saw the report name. It's being calculated using the fiscal year, the fund type, and off of that, we're looking at a BOC number, name, the total obligation, FTE calculation, the total obligations calculation. Then this is fiscal year to date calculations and expenditures, right? Off of that, what Sean has showed you previously, we built out our obligations report. Again, very similar formatting We have our filter pane right here on the side, which shows you objects and object class, which you'll be able to choose and filter by. But there's a new thing that we added on this report. As you see on the top, administration, organizations, fund code, fund class, fund group, fiscal year, and fiscal month. All the filters you saw on the side, we actually put this on the report this time. That gives you a much more dynamic filtering and cascading filtering. What does that mean? When I choose VBA or NCA, the rest will follow after that. You will only see stuff that are supposed to be in the VBA or the NCA grouping. Right? The next one is organization. So all the organizations that belong in NCA are the only ones that you will see here. Same thing with the fund code, fund class, group, and fiscal years and fiscal month. Okay. You do have a choice of selecting fiscal year, fiscal month. So we'll just go ahead and go with fiscal FY19. The first grouping that you see is at a division category level. So this will be literally at an NCA and a VBA level. If we have enough data on here, you will actually start seeing multiple lines. So let me go ahead and remove this. So let me show you. If we had enough data for VBA, which we're working on it as we speak, you will start seeing details about the outstanding obligation, total obligation, expended obligation, accrued expenditure, and FTE hours in here. If you choose just to see NCA stuff, which is what we're working on currently, again, we're back down to only one thing at a division level. All the data you're going to see is at the NCA level. On the bottom side, you start seeing the organization. The only organizations that are now going to show up are that are belonging to NCA only. Okay. Again, the organizations are going to be all the ones that we have data for today. On here, we're still showing you outstanding obligation, total obligation, expended obligations, accrued expenditures, and FTE hours. Okay. Are you guys still able to see my screen? I might be frozen. Let me go ahead and try.
Well, not right now. Keeps on going back and forth.
I'm going to go ahead and try logging in one more time. Give me 1 second. And please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen again?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So the first section that we were talking about was the division category section. The second section is the organization level. All your orgs will be showing up here. All the details about each of the orgs will be showing right below it. And the last one is the detail level. So this is at the lowest object level that you will see, right? And this is again showing the same items that you have seen before. So outstanding obligation, total obligation, expended obligations, accrued expenditure, and FTE hours. So why didn't we break it out like this? Because there has to be some reasoning behind this, right? So let me show you. I'm going to include everything on here now. So if all I wanted to see was the VBA data, all I simply can do is just click on this VBA, and now the data is only are showing here on the organization level and at the object level is for the VBA. Similar to that, I can simply click on the NCA. Now all the organizations and the objects are you going to be seeing are going to be at the NCA level. Even down to that, if I wanted to just see one single cemetery, the Loudon Park National Cemetery, I wanted to see the details about the $600 outstanding obligation, the total obligation of $1,300, expended obligation of $700. I wanted to see details of that. I'll be able to see down to an object level. details about that, $600, $1,300, and $700. So that gives you another lot of good capability of cross-filtering. If you wanted to just simply see one cemetery, you'd be able to do so. And again, as you can see, there's multiple cemeteries that I'm clicking on now just to show you guys how this easy and fast this report updates for you. So those were the two reports that we talked about. The first one was about the aging receivables, and the second one that you're seeing is the obligation reports. So that's what we wanted to show you today, how we slice it, dice it, make this report work for you, make it easy enough, make it user-friendly enough, very simple to launch, simple to get into, and get your day-to-day work done today. So now I would like to see if anybody has any questions and and answer them.
Yeah, Dylan, so we do have one question right now. So let's say a user wanted to go to a specific document number to see exactly what the line item is. Can we see that?
On the obligation or on the aging receivable? Which was that question about?
Well, I don't see the document number on this report.
Did they send that during the aging receivable?
I think they sent it now, but it could have been through aging receivables.
I think it's aging receivable, Dylan.
Yeah, here, where I saw the document number.
So the lowest granularity on this report that we have, and this is an enterprise report, is down to a document number.
Oh, this one doesn't look like it is.
Hopefully that answers the question for Richard Schroeder. The next question is, can the other administrations use the payroll workbook?
That's something I'll let Kim answer for us. She is trying to unmute her phone right now.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you guys can hear me. For the payroll work, okay. For the payroll workbook, and I'm assuming if we're looking at the slide, it's the one that's marked in green at the top right-hand corner. That payroll workbook, I believe, is right now administration specific, meaning that that was specifically developed for the NCA based on NCA requirements and needs. So as each administration goes through their implementation, each administration during that particular implementation phase will have the opportunity to identify their unique set of reports. So right now, VBA, for example, VBA GOE is in the middle of their implementation, and they've already identified a series of VBA GOE unique set of reports that we're developing as part of their wave. But as it stands right now, the payroll workbook that you're seeing on the PowerPoint slide is actually specific.
So I'm also going to make another note to everybody on the phone. I forgot to mention this before we did the demos, but if any of the data is actually in these reports throwing you off a little bit, this is actually just test data that we're using to build these reports off of right now. It's not cleaned up, configured data yet. So if you can just conceptually, if it's just giving you difficulties, try not to look at what the data is if that's throwing you off. Once again, this is simply test data.
Okay, here's another question. The ability to export was shown on the aging receivables report, but I didn't see that capability on the obligation. Is that possible?
Absolutely, and I apologize. Again, both of these reports are built on using Power BI, and you would use the same functions as you saw in the previous report. And as I'm showing right now, you'll be able to export this data out again. And on this report, you will be able to go all the way up to the underlying data and get it out on the CSV or Excel format. Same thing with each of the table blocks that you see, that you'll be able to export this as well. So I'm hoping that answered your question.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone. And we'll open up the screen. I gotta open up the, I gotta. Well, I'm gonna unmute everyone, or am I?
Can you all see my screen now? Sorry about that. So that concludes the demo that we had today to show you the two reports. We received a few questions through the messaging channel, but now we just want to leave it to an open floor to anybody. If any of you have questions specifically on the reports, feel free to ask them now. We'd love to answer any questions you guys have.
All right. I have unmuted everyone. If you are not asking a question, if you could mute yourself to avoid background noise. I can hear someone's probably in a car. Okay, everyone, I've just muted everyone again because there were some background noise. So if you have a question, shoot up a message in the chat box and I will unmute you for your question. Okay, well, it doesn't appear that we have any questions. I have a survey that I'm going to put in the chat box. Let's see if I can find it. Can you find it real quick?
Can you mute this one?
And if anybody thinks of any questions after the call is over, feel free to email the training team at fmbttraining@va.gov, and somebody on the training team will get back to you.
I've just placed a very quick and short SurveyMonkey feedback on the chat box. If you would all please take just a moment. We can only improve these sessions with your comments. Again, this will be our last session for 2019, calendar year 2019, and we will be starting up again as 2020 rolls around. This will be available on the FMBT site today, probably Thursday. We'll be able to get it all put together. We'll include the PowerPoint as well as this recording. Okay, if there's no more questions, thank you all for attending. And again, just please fill out your survey. Have a great day.